Working on it now. Perfect. Okay, so we are recording. Great. Thank you both for joining today so we can keep talking about the topic of student engagement as it relates to the Advisory Council for Office of Global Affairs. Just to give a quick recap of what we talked about last time in June, we discussed kind of, how are students thinking about study abroad and engaging with study abroad before they go, but also after they go. We discussed ways to kind of keep them engaged after the actual study abroad experience, because I think that's when a lot of the growth tends to happen. And so we thought if we want them to be more engaged after the fact, we got to show them why they should be, and that there's engagement kind of all the way throughout on this idea of skill building and adapting culturally, and how that will better their chances at applying for graduate school, being successful in their careers, all the things we know are in the soft skills that are enhanced by studying abroad. So the idea we discussed last time to kind of facilitate this engagement was documenting the journey from really getting ready to depart to returning. So we discussed documenting journal where at different points throughout the process, they would have prompts to complete while abroad, before they go, but also after they return. And if they complete that journal, all the prompts through the journal, there would be some incentives or some gift or some recognition that they would receive for having completed that. We talked about at least a highlight of their completion of that journal at the International Award ceremony. Maybe not a, speech, come stand up, get an award, because that ceremony is pretty long to begin with, but at least recognition at that ceremony on the PowerPoint, with the student where they went and some designation. And so we would roll through all of those folks. And then we were thinking through other ways to incentivize the completion of the journal as well, whether it be gift cards, swag, I'm thinking like an ECU portfolio, all sorts of things we could think about for incentivizing them to complete it. So the homework for today's meeting was to think about, one, how could we deliver that journal to them? What format would that be easiest to do? And then also, what types of prompts would we want them to be answering? We talked about there being like a cultural prompt, but also a professional development-based prompt at each of those three stages, so that they're thinking about their journey from a cultural standpoint, but also from that skill building, kind of bettering themselves for the future standpoint too. So that's what I got. Let me know if I left anything out. And welcome, Randy.
Sorry I'm late. I got in a loop and kept logging in and logging in and logging in. And anyway, I hate Microsoft.
No worries. We're recording. So all I've done so far is given a brief recap of what we discussed last time. And I know you were there, so I think you should have a general sense of what we discussed.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, so I was just opening it up to the room to see if anybody's had any thoughts on other ideas or more thoughts on the journal, the delivery method, incentivizing, all that type of stuff. So open floor.
I think we could do a virtual, like a delivery method, but then have them be able to request one for a cost, like a physical one if they want.
Okay. Hold on, where's my notes? Okay.
Like for instance, if we design it in Canva, like you can do the Canva print option and they could just pay that plus like an extra $5 or something,
Mm-hmm. Let's see, a digital version. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I've seen stuff about that. We've had a program that made a book every year for students to fill out. So I know there's ways that they could, if we had a link to purchasing it through Canva or whatever, they could just do that directly and get it shipped to their house, and it can be pretty easy.
And so this would be a separate product and not piggybacking on the demonstration of the process they have to walk through during the, pre-process for passport and checkoff list and all that sort of thing. Is that right?
Yeah, I think the idea is that it would be separate from the application.
Application, yeah.
Yeah, because that was something we discussed last time too, was like if we put it in the application portal,
It'll
there's
get
some
lost.
things we actually really need in a timely manner in that portal, and I don't want them to spend all their time writing a really lovely summary when like I just need your passport. So
But you could link it from there or something. Yeah.
yes,
Right.
definitely. For sure. I think the application could link to it or have a learning content to learn more, and then, they could be taken into another platform to do it. So it sounds like folks are generally okay with the idea of a digital format. Let's say we did design it through Canva. Canva's not really where they would complete the journal, like the prompts. Does anybody have any leads on a platform that allows for online journaling or, of course we have Canvas, which is a learning platform, that they should already be used to using. But I'm not sure how accessible that would be for journaling, but I could look into it.
I'm wondering if like, I don't know if Adobe has like a free version, like a web-based version where they could just type in it,
It might. I haven't used that in a while, but
Or maybe Google, like I know Google has like extensions where you can do that. So are you guys Google based now, or is it all?
We're still
Okay.
Outlook and Microsoft. So I actually need to maybe look into if there's anything through Microsoft that they would already have access to.
Like similar to a Google Docs type thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I've seen that. I used to work at a Google school, and there's a lot that Google can do with like web-based links, that you can like then download the form and complete it on your own, and there's a lot there. So yes, we can look into options through Microsoft and see if Adobe has anything, because students also can download the Adobe Suite for free while they're a student at ACU,
Okay.
and have access to all the Adobe software. So it doesn't even need to be a free version necessarily, but it should be easy for them to do.
OneNote could also be an option potentially.
Which one?
OneNote.
One. Okay, I'll look into that.
Yeah, it's just like a digital notebook, so we could make a journal one, and then
Okay.
they could still request a physical one if they prefer that, but then they could do it this way. I don't know. That's just throwing it out there.
Oh, and OneNote is Microsoft. Okay, I will definitely look into that.
Something I asked last time, and I don't remember the answer. Do they have access to Teams? We could set up a team site.
So students do have access to Teams through the Microsoft Suite. They very rarely use it.
Okay.
But yes, Teams could be an option. But Teams is more for like, well, I'm looking at this here. I don't know if OneNote would, it might work seamlessly with Teams. It does, actually. There is an extension
It
on
does.
Teams for that. Yeah. So yeah, that could be a way to at least add them to something where they can then gain access. I'll look into that.
I mean, you say they don't use Teams, but depending on what career they're looking at, a lot of companies are using Teams. I'd much rather hire somebody that already knows how to use it than try to teach them.
Yes, I agree. It's definitely a skill set that they need to have. I think one of the issues we discussed last time is that there's so much for them to do and take advantage of before they're abroad and then while they're abroad. And we want it to be very easy for them to navigate. So I'm also thinking through, how many, if they're in their application and then they go to Teams, which then connects to OneNote, it's a lot of different places to get through. So I would like to make it
OneNote can
as
embed as a
seamless.
tab in Teams.
Yes. I saw that, yep. So once they get there, it would be there, but getting them to that point, is what we'd have to think through. But there's a lot of good options, I think, here for platforms that they should already have access to or free access to, through their EC login. Yes, okay. Well, I like that. I'm gonna look into these platforms more so that by the next time we meet, we can maybe pick one and then start drafting it out, what it would look like. You guys maybe could be my guinea pigs and try accessing it and seeing what it looks like as a user. So yeah, I will put that as an action item for me.
The only thing I'll say is if they have access to Adobe for free through, I think that's probably going to be the like easiest option.
They would have to download the Adobe Suite and install it on their computer if they haven't already done that. I think many students don't know they have access to that for free, but yeah, I think it would be easy if they can get that downloaded on their computer. Whereas Teams, I think, is nice because it's web-based. So it doesn't necessarily require you to download a software onto your computer or iPad or whatever it is.
I think on a lot of the Adobe's, you have the option of either desktop or web-based.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I've only
that's
ever,
what I thought too. And then also, I mean, also we could just do Word in theory and like do like blocked text boxes if we need to
yeah,
on top of like a background that instead of like we will make the sheets in Canva and then download them, have them be the background on the pages, and then just put text boxes on top for them to type in.
yeah.
Hmm.
Cool. Well, has anybody had any thoughts on prompts? Anybody come up with
prompts?
any? Yeah, prompts for the different stages.
An obvious one before they travel is, what do you expect to get out of this, and how do you think that'll impact your career?
So what
That's pretty much what I came up with.
Yeah.
Yes.
what do you
That's kind
hope?
of an obvious one. But
So what do you hope to get out of this experience, and
how do you expect it to impact your career?
Or future studies.
Yeah.
So I put in the chat some of the personal ones. Let me copy over the professional ones that I was thinking.
first one we've got is, which do I believe is more important, the journey or the destination? Why? On one. Okay, so the first two I'm reading are a little like reflective, which is good. What is one way I can add more adventure to my daily life this week? Okay, so that's maybe a good one for while abroad. I want to start categorizing these once I have them all.
Oh yeah, mine are not categorized in the slightest. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I think, some of them could maybe be a couple different points throughout the experience, so that's good. Where have I been that feels like home away from home? Oh, that's a good one. I think placemaking is a big part of study abroad and success in study abroad. Something you saw today. Okay, I'm just gonna copy all these. I'm doing them one by one, and I don't know why I'm doing that.
I haven't typed it in, but one that I was thinking of for like after the experience, Rose, what is something that you took away from this experience that you were not at all expecting?
Okay, so what is something you took away from this experience?
Because travel always surprises us, and
Yeah, for sure. I think that's some of the best kind of conversations we have with students when they return, for the students who do come to our returning events, is that thing that they didn't expect. You know, they're like, I didn't expect to make so many friends. And that was one of their biggest fears going into it. Or, you know, I didn't expect to miss it so much now that I'm home. You know, just those little takeaways are really insightful for students.
I had the question similar to Emily with the cultural question, but tag to that is, what impact did that have on you?
Hmm.
Is that something you want to adopt? Something that turned you off? There's a difference in a culture, but so what?
Which question do you think that could be an add-on to? Sorry.
About third way death says, what is one cultural difference you noticed today that you found interesting?
Mm,
And how did
Uh-huh.
that impact you?
yeah. Yeah, I think that secondary question is also very helpful many times, because it's one thing to say, well, what was a cultural thing that impacted you? You can be like, oh, the siesta every day. Okay, well now go a little further, you know, and so that
Yeah.
second question is definitely critical in some of these. Great ad. Describe a moment today when you felt like a local instead of a visitor. Oh, I think that's always a key moment to recognize while you're abroad.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think a couple of these could maybe, especially the while abroad ones, could be combined into one question that gets at, you know, the question itself and then a reflection piece. But these are great to have here. Any other folks with prompts that they want to put on this list? Oh wait, did I miss another? No. Okay, yes. I missed another thing. We got a lot to work with. Which intercultural skill did you practice today? Describe the situation. Yeah, so this is good. For some of these, you know, we might also define the term as a part of the prompt, so we can add that in. But you know, we could maybe give them a couple to choose from that are very common or something, different skills or practices. Let's see what else we got here.
I like the ones that, pardon me, like, what assumption did you recognize or challenge today? Like, describe situation where, observing before speaking helped you. How did you demonstrate flexibility or resilience? Where's the other one that I really, oh, describe a moment when you had to embrace uncertainty or ambiguity. I think all of those are getting at key professional skills that younger folks don't think of as professional skills.
Mhm.
And that they would all tie well into this last question or some version of it where it's like, what experience would help you answer the interview question, like, etc. And so I think maybe having that be like something that's built upon, like multiple related to, like vaguely related to those softer but like super important critical professional skills leading up to a reflection prompt, maybe in the after, where it's about like considering prompts 6, 7, 8. Like, how would you leverage those in an interview when asked? Da, 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 you know?
Yeah, and I think, you know, we do offer that in-person workshop where we ask a lot of
Yeah.
these same questions where it's like, okay, well, give me an example of a time you had to do this. And then we help them craft a short, sweet anecdote to deliver in, you know, verbally in an interview. But getting them to think about it beforehand would make that workshop so much easier. And then the workshop becomes more about the delivery and less about coming up with the idea. Because I think that has been some of the feedback from that session, is that actually getting to practice the delivery, while awkward and they hate it at first, it's very helpful for them to kind of do those mock interview type moments with us. Yeah, these are great. So we've got a lot to work through, and my plan after this meeting is to kind of send you a summary of all these, so don't feel like you have to write them all down. And maybe, you know, we can all vote or decide what our top 10 would be, because I think we can. I'm not sure how we want to deliver this, but do we want to have like 3 prompts per time period, pre, during, post? Or do we want to have 5, but the requirement to complete the journal is to do 3 of each? You know, do we want to give them more and then have a minimum requirement, or just give them something and then that's all they have to do?
I like the first option a lot, especially for those who like actually enjoy journaling. It just gives them the opportunity to do more.
Okay.
Well, I think if there's specific questions we need answered or really want answered, this is required. Now pick 3 of the other 5.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, so maybe what I'll do is then after today's meeting, I'll send you all of them. And we can, by the next meeting, come with our priority top 3 for each section or something. That way we can start to whittle down the list between the required ones and the more optional ones. That sound good?
Yep.
Great. Full journal. Sorry, y'all, I'm just taking notes.
Oh, I am getting a work call, so I probably just need to go at this point anyway. So sorry. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day.
Okay.
you
No
too.
problem, thanks,
Bye.
Emily. All right, so we're recording, she'll catch up. I think this is a great place to start with. Are there any, I mean, I guess other prompts, if you think of some that are missing once you see the full list, you could bring to the next meeting as well, especially if you see a hole in kind of the questioning, once you can look at the whole list together. But I'd love to talk about incentives, because it's already hard to get students to do many things that we need from them. And I want there to be a, you know, of course, there are going to be students who self-select into this because they want to journal and they want to be reflective. But I want to give students a reason to do it. So I think it's easy for us to highlight them at the International Award ceremony. But some incentives that we came up with last time are more easy for us as an office to do than others. So some of the incentives we came up with to review are access to networking or training sessions with local professional development organizations. I think that could be easy for us to set up, but I'm not very aware of what those local organizations are. You know, I've only been in Greenville for 4 years, and I know a lot about the ECU resources, but not so much about outside, you know, professional development opportunities. So folks have ideas on that, that would be very helpful. We can do gift cards for sure. But the tricky part with gift cards is we would need the budget to do that. So it's definitely a possibility, but if we have half of the students we send abroad every year do this, we can't do $250, $25 gift cards. I don't know where that budget would come from. So that's tricky, but still a possibility.
Well, those you could do the first 10 that submit.
Yeah,
gift cards.
or drawing or something for, I hate to use the word prize, but you know what I mean, so.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that could be like higher stakes gift cards with the drawing.
Mhm.
Maybe it's a $200 gift card and there's 5 of them, or you know, something like that. Okay. Another idea was a year subscription to Duolingo. This would be very hard for us to purchase for a student. Subscriptions and software is very convoluted at the university. If you want to get access to a subscription, there's a whole process for that. So I don't know that that's totally doable for us. It would also be quite high cost. So I think that would be part of the drawing, maybe, like that you could use the gift card to do that. Another idea was resume service. Another one was a portfolio, professional headshot, LinkedIn premium subscription. Again, that with the subscription and the software, I think that one would be really difficult. We have professional polo or quarter zip, showcase at the award ceremony, a seat at the Italy fundraiser dinner, and excerpts to the East Carolinian newspaper. So those were just some of the ideas we had, and I'll drop them in the chat real quick. But I'd love to think through those a bit more and see what your thoughts would be on maybe what students would like. So I know on campus, the Career Center does do resume review and feedback. So that doesn't feel like a big gift unless it's from a professional organization, because they do have access to that on campus.
Okay.
A note about some of these. Students can also get a headshot taken on campus for free in this machine in the student center. So it's not done by a person or anything, but it is a free or very inexpensive, it might be like $2, service that they can do on campus. So I think that's also one that doesn't feel like a big gift, because there are ways to do it on campus. But I'll make sure that that's free before I take it off the list.
I know you said a seat at the Italy fundraiser, which I'm not familiar with, but is there any way you could do some sort of, not like a dinner or reception for them or something? Or are we talking about too many students? Just an idea.
Yeah, it could be. Um, Yes.
Students love to eat.
yeah, they do. They do. Yeah, let me think on that a little bit more.
And it could be, there's a gift card for Nino's, a gift card for apparel at the student store, a gift card for the the Italy fundraiser. So, everybody doesn't get an Italy fundraiser, but there are 20 prizes and we can come up with, and if you do it, you get in the raffle for those 20 prizes.
True. I guess a lot
Instead
of
of
it
just a
depends upon
generic
your
gift card, have
budget.
a focused one.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a good idea too, because like the Italy fundraiser dinner, if we're only giving away 2 seats at that, that doesn't cost us a lot of money to add in 2 seats, for the whole night,
Right.
when there's 50 other people going. But if we had to give away like 5 or 6, well, then that's going to really change the budget and the fundraising and all of that. Yeah, and a lot of times local restaurants and folks will give us like a bit of a discount on gift cards or things for their restaurants if it's going to students. So we could always kind of pull that together from a couple different means to make it not as expensive on our office, because our concern is always the funds to make it
Yeah.
happen. What do we think about some of the physical incentives we thought about, like maybe an ECU portfolio, that has the notebook and the pen holder and or a quarter zip or a polo from ECU? What about those physical things? Do we think students would be interested in that?
I think the polo and the quarter zip, yes.
Yeah.
The portfolio, I've probably got a dozen of them around here. It's like, oh,
They
cool, I get one of
probably
these,
have
and I never
something.
used it. Yeah,
Yeah, especially this generation, I feel like they're on their pads and their,
Yeah.
computers, that's where they're taking notes, so I'll take that one off. But the shirts
unless
will
you could
be
have
on.
like a,
Definitely the polo or whatever, yeah.
but did you get like a nice, somewhere around here, I have an Apple leather sleeve for my iPad. Something like that with an
Hmm.
ECU brand on it,
Hmm.
like a case or something like that. Your laptop case or an iPad case that's branded.
Maybe
Okay.
a travel wallet.
Yeah.
Right. Okay,
Or bag, whatever.
yeah, something a little high end to make it nice. Okay. Send excerpts to East Carolinian newspaper. I think this was your idea, Randy.
Yeah. Just something, a write up to kind of highlight them and their accomplishment. There are articles about the athletes. Well, that's great. But what about people that accomplish things other than sports?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Okay.
that's something they can, on their resume and say, yeah, I was highlighted in our school newspaper because of what I did on this trip or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think this is a good idea. Um, we've got some good things going. I think now that we've got some prompts in mind and we have kind of a fleshed out picture of what this would look like, I can certainly talk to Dr. Rezick about his ideas around this. I can look more into the platforms for hosting the journal. I think that's going to be a big part of it, is how will students access it. Does anyone in the room have kind of design skills or I think Emily does,
I
but
think you're looking at Emily as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned.
okay.
She's more in tune with all that sort of thing. I'm way past.
Okay, well, I might ask her then to maybe do a little mock-up. I mean, there's a lot of branding things we have to follow now. ECU just completely rebranded and we're all still getting used to the new brand guidelines. But I can send that to her and see if she maybe wants to take a stab at the front page or, what a prompt would look like with the background and everything. That way we can also still really get a sense of what it would look like visually. Um, Yeah. Any other thoughts on this? Any other ideas that to get students engaged and to, see why they should maybe remain engaged once they get back for some of the professional development that we offer. Or why they should engage with our office in the first place if travel isn't really their interest, but the professional development speaks to them more. I know it's a big question for like 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to think of that when nothing jumps up top of my lip.
Okay.
Yeah, if you'll include that in your notes, nothing's popping up for me either. So
Okay. I think this is a great idea and we can run with it. And once we have a product and, we can maybe test it out on a program or a couple of students to see how it goes and then really expand it out into something larger. Um, I always love to pilot new initiatives with a small group of students. Um, just to get their feedback. How much work was it? Was it worth the incentive? Just little things like that before you really open it up to 500 students or whatever, we will send each year. So Yeah, we could talk about that at the next meeting as well. All right.
And you probably do this as part of the follow-up when you have students that come back from abroad and all that, but do you address with them like questions as to what would have made this process better for you or this experience better, what was missing, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so we do send students a post-program evaluation for all of, so yes, for our faculty-led programs in Tuscany, the programs that we design and create and have control over, we do send an evaluation out to them about how can this be better? What did you do?
Yeah, I figured you did, but just.
Yeah, and then for our
Bring it up.
semester students that do maybe outside programs or exchanges, they do have a space in their application after they get back to write a testimonial about their experience. But it's not as deep of an evaluation because there's a lot of that we can't control when you go in an outside program. So it's more just, did you feel safe? Is there anything you want to report? How was the experience? Should other students do this in the future? Very general. But yeah, we do have the evaluation.
Okay.
Getting ready to work through all of those from this summer. I just have 2 more programs that are out right now and they come back on Saturday, so.
You'll be busy.
Yeah, it's getting to my busy season here. But I'm very excited about our list of faculty-led programs for 2027. We're gonna have some really cool ones. Some brand new ones, some new locations, lots of programs in Asia. So really, really excited about our list of programs for 2027. I'll get to
Nice.
work on my first Madagascar program.
Cool.
All right, well, I think I know what my next steps are. I'm gonna send a follow-up email out to everyone, probably tomorrow at this stage, because to upload the recordings to YouTube, it takes a couple hours for them to review the content before they'll post it. But I'll summarize kind of what we discussed today, send the prompts written out in a clear format, and give some next steps for our next meeting. Yeah, I think at our next meeting, we'll want to kind of finalize the required prompts and then start looking at the visual and have a platform for where we're going to host it. So lots on me, a little bit on Emily with the design side, and then everybody gets to kind of vote on their top questions to be required.
Okay,
Cool.
you're just clicking right along.
Yeah, I really love to get through get through those action items. I think that's one of my skill sets from having worked on 41 programs every year is you gotta go through your list of action items and get it done. But yeah, I really appreciate you all joining the meeting today and giving your input. And I'm really excited by this idea. I love the idea of getting students to be more reflective on their experience. I think that just leads to better engagement and, like we've discussed, the ability for them to have a bit more of a way to engage with their experience even after it's over. So, yeah, thank you all very much.
Thank
Please
you.
reach out if you have any questions, and I'll be in touch very soon.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Y'all take care. Bye-bye.
Bye
All
bye.
right. Thank you. Bye.